Yo, what is going on, everybody? Today we are talking about movement and how the pros move in CoD Vanguard. Obviously, movement is truly the foundation for all gun skill in any Call of Duty game, and is the most important thing to nail down at the beginning of the game to get in those habits of using them in gunfights. And today we're talking about the ways that pros are already breaking the movement in CoD Vanguard and dominating because of it. So off the rip, there's a handful of things. The settings are most important. I posted a video about this already, but I'll quickly go over the ones that affect your movement. And basically there's three things. The first thing is the grounded mantle settings, or the mantling settings, that can kind of mess with the slide canceling. I talked about that in the tips video yesterday, or on launch day when it came out. You just gotta turn off grounded mantles, turn those things off. You can have airborne mantling on either off or partial, but you just wanna avoid those things to avoid having problems with your slide canceling in game. The other things, of course, auto tac sprint. Basically, a lot of the pros, or the far majority of pros right now, are playing with auto tac sprint. The only way they don't is if it ends up getting GA'd like it did in Modern Warfare, but make sure to have that on. And of course, this is the most important thing, is to have your slide behavior on tap. You literally can't slide cancel, or not well at least, if it's not on tap, so make sure you have it on tap. So now, first thing, slide canceling, of course. Most of you guys know this already. It's kind of been a thing now for a while, even dating back to BO4, but slide canceling is really straightforward. It's just slide, slide, jump in fast succession. Slide, slide, jump, like what you're seeing here. It's like the basic move for all things. It breaks the cammering, and that's why a lot of pros like running double time as a perk, because you get more tac sprinting, you can do it more often, and it makes it easier to help break these cameras. When pros talk about cameras in game, it's basically when you can see someone and when they can see you. And if you slide out on somebody, generally that means that you can see them if you're sliding out on them like 1 or 2 frames before they can see you. And that's what cammering is. So it gets a little bit crazy, but overall slide canceling can be used in a lot of different ways. And this is one way you can use it right here, is how Cellium uses it. And in Vanguard, snaking has kind of been nerfed, where you can't just crouch, like spam crouch all the time. So this is kind of the closest you can get to snaking without snaking. Of course, Cellium's the king of all things weird and wild, and he does this as good as anybody, using it to slide cancel into a head glitch like he does there, and it's really hard to kill. He did this insanely well in Cold War on Garrison, like in a lot of those spots, like in lights and those types of things, and he's doing it here, and you can do that to implement those types of movements into your game. Basically, slide canceling into any head glitch is OP, and you'll pop up and be able to shoot at your enemy before your enemy can even see you, a few frames ahead of time. So it's important to nail that down, get your centering on where the enemy's going to be when you come out of a head glitch like that, and you will be beaming people all day long. The other thing with sliding that some pros use really well, and we've already seen like Shotzzy and some of the optic guys and the phase guys definitely using this really well, is in this game still sliding down stairs or sliding down like ledges or hills is very good. You get a little bit of a speed boost, and it can even break cameras even worse than in other situations around the map. So like what you're seeing here, you can slide down the hills, you can slide down the staircases. So make sure to utilize that and basically do it. There's not really any downside to doing it. So basically slide down any downward slope you got and give it a go. So it's a good time. Definitely good at breaking cameras and useful in basically any gunfight to make you look more cracked around the map for sure. The next things, of course, I mean, pretty straightforward, again, with a lot of this Modern Warfare stuff, but it's the jump shots and bunny hops. And so let's start off with the jump shots, obviously. Jump shotting's pretty straightforward. You're flying towards a corner, you jump, and you aim down sights to try to get a jump on your opponent. It's really easy. It's one of the most effective moves in the history of Call of Duty, and you should definitely be doing it. All pros do it all the time. I think jump shotting is really good in S&D, especially when you know where somebody is or have a good feel for where somebody is. You're just jumping, aiming down, jumping out there to make a kill happen. It's great, and definitely use it a lot. Then bunny hopping is like the next level up from jump shotting, where bunny hopping is basically hopping a second time after you hit your first hop. All COD pros do it. It's definitely nice with it. It's definitely the way to go right now in basically any gunfight that you're in at any point where you're jumping. Get into a custom game lobby, practice doing it, and it can absolutely make you better and help you win more gunfights. And it's really useful in almost any situation, S&D, hardpoint. Just do it as much as you can and like be as cracked as you can. And even like if you don't fully execute it, like even like a double jump, like what you see here with what Crim did right here in this insane 2-piece, you can definitely do as well. Definitely continue to work on your jump shots and your bunny hops and implement them at any time or as much as possible, because there's not really any downside to doing them in these games. So do them as much as possible. Look cracked in your gameplay. And then the final thing here that is definitely been interesting with the S&D tournament so far this year is how mantling comes into play, because mantling's pretty loud in this game still, kind of like Cold War. Avoiding mantling at all costs is really important. And so we've seen like FaZe and Shotzzy and all these guys, like the usual suspects of breaking movements, doing a really good job of avoiding mantling by using objects and things like that to jump up onto ledges. It's kind of what you're seeing, like what I'm doing here, just in a custom game. You can do that basically on any map in a lot of these different spots. So if you're like, man, this mantling is so slow, like try to find these spots where you can use a attack sprint jump to get up to that same spot, and you can actually increase your movement a lot. There's a lot of different spots you can do this on, basically across all the maps. And I think the fun thing about this game is you can really get onto a lot of these different spots, onto roofs, onto the sides of buildings, and use these jump spots to your advantage in game. And pros, kind of like I talked about in the Shotzzy video yesterday. So if you haven't had a chance to go check that out, I highly recommend checking out my Shotzzy breakdown to talk about some of the movements that he's done. But you can run on a lot of these fences, and you can do a lot of these things like in this clip that you're seeing from Shotzzy here, and really utilize like the doors and all of these things to break the cameras in the game and have an advantage in any gunfight, or use the fences or whatever it is, and pair that with your jump shots, your bunny hops, and your slide cancels to really have pro level movement in game. I highly recommend watching guys like Simp, Shotzzy, Abezy, Neptune, and so many other SMG players that are cracked. Even Crim6, I really like how Crim utilizes the bunny hops. He does a lot of forward bunny hops where he bunny hops actually while ADS moving forward, and it works really well for him. And it makes him more evasive if somebody's trying to shoot him from the side or things like that, and gives him more elevation in his gunfights too, makes him harder to kill. And all of those things are really impressive and important as well. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video, a pretty quick little movement video. If you guys did, drop your comments down below. A whole bunch of videos coming down the barrel here with pro breakdowns and some spawn breakdowns that are coming out here in the next few weeks, S&D strats videos, and a lot of other things. So, you know, not to mention we just talk about competitive COD around here, ranking COD pros and all of those things. So I recommend subscribing. Hit the notification bell. I might be a little bit biased, so you never miss an upload. That's all I got. So this has been your boy SalvationsElite, and we'll see you next time. I'm out.